Hi, welcome back to You Are the Answer. Today we're going to start discussing performance goals and how fundamentals tie into the goal setting process. Now, before you even get started in setting big performance goals for yourself, it's really important to first develop core competency in the physiological fundamentals. There's lots of athletes and even coaches who take these for granted, if not ignore them altogether, which is just a really bad idea. You can just ask any person who's dove headfirst into either powerlifting or long distance endurance sports or the CrossFit main page beatdown wads with no real preparation whatsoever. I think training protocol can be simplified and broken down into 4 basic physiological areas. And those are mobility, mechanical proficiency, power, and capacity or stamina. Each of these areas I refer to as the 4 cornerstones of athletic performance. You start first with flexibility and mobility. It's the precursor to every other aspect of training, and it's absolutely essential to athleticism. Your muscles and joints have to cover a full range of motion just to be able to execute the fundamentals, let alone the specialties of any sport. Proper warm up and warm down is important, but true mobility is work and training in and of itself. And it's got to happen at the front end before you move on to any of these other areas. Next comes mechanical proficiency and proper technique. Once you achieve a full range of motion, the focus then moves to proficiency. Joint hinges are made to move in a certain way. For example, you don't want any excessive internal or external rotation of the knee joint while you're squatting with heavy weights. You want that knee to track directly over the toes, straight up and down through the movement, and you want your back to remain straight and neutral. This is all about putting qualitative measurements ahead of quantitative measurements. In other words, light weights, super strict form before you increase the loads. You pay close attention to this area and it's going to pay you big strength dividends down the road in the long run, as well as keep you healthy for the long run in the first place. Next comes power. Power is your ability to move heavier weights, jump higher, move faster. Everybody's looking for the fastest path, if not a shortcut to power. But think about it. Taking the path of least resistance to get to maximal resistance makes no sense. That's why the first 2 cornerstones have to come before power. But man, can power add a lot to your performance, right? Think about this fundamental as the process of building an engine. The bigger the engine you build, the more power you can produce. Last but not least is capacity or stamina. This is the ability to perform multiples of these pillars, all 3 of them, if not all of them, together over a prolonged period of time. Once power is established, you can create capacity or you can increase stamina just by tinkering around with the intensity levels, your rest periods, and your fueling techniques. Now, I've ordered this list this way on purpose. It all starts with mobility. A wide range of motion maximizes the benefits of every other element. Now, if you try to place power ahead of mechanics, then you're headed down a bad track that's going to potentially result in a career-ending injury. Capacity is desirable from a competitive perspective, but you better get your strength ducks in a row if you want to compete on a high level. Another key point is that all of these cornerstones are secondary to nutrition. As we mentioned previously, nutrition is the foundation of all of your performance. Having the right fuel in your tank is going to have a direct impact on your performance in training or competition. Each of these cornerstones ties into goal setting. Getting them out of order or ignoring them altogether is going to be a huge obstacle in terms of getting bigger, stronger, or faster. And we're going to talk more in detail about each of these in the future. But for now, remember that regardless of your DNA or your natural abilities, you can make steady improvement by consistently training each in the proper order. Your objective here is to go from basic competency to good, to better, to best in each of these areas. It all starts with your commitment, because when it comes right down to it, you are the difference between good, better, or best. Thanks for checking us out. See you next time.